a common sight for new players. Your troops are ordered to advance but get stopped and turned around by enemy fire, even though they outnumber the enemy. This example will show you basics for setting up more successful attacks in the future. The example will only utilize basic direct fire infantry weapons. That means no artillery or mortar support, for now. We start by taking a look at the map. Our objective is to take the farm. This is also where the enemy is positioned. The left approach offers very little in regards to cover. On the right, the enemy's field of fire from the farmhouse is partially obstructed by a barn. This blind spot will likely be covered by other elements, but from the river on low water we have also additional options to take cover. We will set up our base of fire immediately on the forested hill and try to spot enemy units while staying hidden. And after we open fire from there, we set up an additional base of fire from the low hill. The cover there is insufficient to move and set up without the enemy being already suppressed. When our base of fire is not coming under heavy return fire, we can start our advance. For this we will move one rifle squad and the rifle platoon HQ into the riverbed. From there we begin to set up a new forward base of fire and move a second squad to assist in the final assault. We do this in sequence to not reduce our volume of fire during movement too much, so that the enemy is being continuously suppressed. Before we start, a short notice. Sadly, the enemy fortifications were this time only completely rendered in after the mission had ended. Here a picture of the complete fire obstacles and trenches. I can't remember running into this problem before. When we are setting up our base of fire, we need to ensure as much as possible that our troops have line of sight where they need to shoot. Your eyes might deceive you, however, so make sure to select a target order and point out the areas you want under fire. Only position your unit when you are satisfied. In some circumstances, you might still run into problems, depending on the unit, the terrain and stance, but the risk is severely reduced. This procedure is especially advised for weapons with significant firepower. Regular rifle squads will often have at least part of the squad that has line of sight if you just eyeball it. Of course, the elements that don't have line of sight will not fire. Since we want to decrease the chance of our base of fire to be discovered, we make sure to select the hidden stance for our units. This usually also keeps units from engaging the enemy. While a short target arc is more reliable at preventing your units from opening fire, it does not decrease their chance of being spotted. However, their chance of spotting the enemy is also decreased while hidden. Now we start the battle by doing nothing. This gives our units time to survey the battlefield. Maybe we get additional intel. After 1 minute, we move our left base of fire closer to the ridge of the low hill. We use the slow command since it is vital that they keep in the prone position to remain in cover. We do this to shorten the distance they have to cover to easier judge the time for the setup in the final position. After 2 minutes, we will finally start the attack. The base of fire in the forest will open fire. We use different target orders for this. The machine gun will use a regular target order to utilize the high ammunition supply and rate of fire to maximize the effect on target. Our regular infantry and command staff will only use target light so that they can keep their fire up for longer since they carry fewer bullets. Target light, however, also results in a lower rate of fire, so we need more guns for the same effect. When setting up the fire for our rifle squads on the trenches, we see the downside of eyeballing a position. The line to the target is grayed out, which means not every member of the squad has line of sight. We now also start to move our base of fire waiting behind the low hill in position, but they will start their turn with a pause, so that the suppression from the forest can have an effect. Again, we check line of sight for our most important weapon before setting up. We also get our support staff in position faster, so that they can already fire on the likely most dangerous enemy position while the MG deploys. It is usually well advised to start a firefight with as much firepower as you can bring to bear, so that you can gain fire superiority quickly. The enemy does not get a window to utilize his own weapons sufficiently, so we can start to prepare our maneuver. For this we break the squads up into fire teams, so we can position them more precisely. For the teams we don't maneuver and still have insufficient line of sight, we increase the rate of fire by switching target light to target for the time being. Since we have to move over open ground, we want to maximize the suppression from our remaining rifle platoons while the first crosses the open field. We also prepare positions for our rifle platoon HQ and the crossing squad for their dash over the open field. We put them where they can start in the following turn. We break the squad up as well, to allow greater spacing while crossing and to reduce moral impact from casualties. Again, we use pauses for teams that have to move to exposed positions to increase suppression before their movement. We also do a quick check-up on our base of fire on the low hill to judge their progress to see if we might have to delay the crossing. But everything looks fine. Starting the new turn, we get the first noise from an enemy MG, but not much more than one burst as it seems. The suppression works. The second base of fire has also reached its position in good order. We cross now. The different teams follow a similar path, spaced with differently timed pauses to not get bunched up too much. They will merge again in the riverbed. The HQ gets into position to follow up. We use the quick instead of the fast command, because even though we cross open field, the enemy is sufficiently suppressed, and most of the fighting needs to be done on the other side of the river. I don't want my forces exhausted for that. Since we now have a second MG online, we can shift our suppressive fire of one MG to take up the fire of the second squad, which starts its movement. Again, shifting position team by team. Again, pauses are used to prevent bunching up. The HQ starts crossing as well. At the end of the turn, we reach the riverbed. We now immediately start establishing a forward base of fire from where we will support the final assault. The second squad has also reached its starting position for the crossing movement in a similar manner as the previous squad. The timing is set up in a way that the forward base of fire can support most of the crossing. I leave this part in uncut so you can see the importance of timing. To get this right will not always work out, but if there was no space for things going wrong, where would be the excitement? This time it worked out. We can now reduce the intensity of our MG fire to conserve ammunition, but focus both MGs on the farmhouse again. The forward base of fire is also shifted closer to the enemy while using the assault order with two merged teams, to ensure that at least one of the teams is being able to fire at all times without timing mishaps. The HQ team has no specific target command to be able to react to any threat that might pop up. Now all elements for the final assault have crossed the river. Our MGs pick up fire again because we will start moving the first assault elements into position. While our second squad takes up position in the forward base of fire, while the lead team of the squad will also move to make ready for the assault. Everything works out, until the enemy MG fires again, despite all our efforts. Thankfully, the targeted lead team makes it across the bridge without additional holes. We order one additional team to suppress the farmhouse, while clearing the target orders for another to allow for reactive fire. We also give a new target order at the end of the assault order of our merged assault element to ensure they fire on the trench when in position, because we removed the target order of one suppressing element. All elements are in position, the final assault is ordered. We cancel the last move order for our merged team to be able to split it again. We don't want widespread morale penalties when charging into the trench. Every team gets a target briefly order and a pause for at least 15 seconds. Elements that are closer get 20 seconds pauses, to allow for simultaneous entry into the trench of all teams. Target briefly allows for all weapons to be used, including grenades. We chose our assault position in a way that some teams might use grenades in this short preparation. After this hail of bullets and grenades, all teams storm the trench with a quick order, while some are ordered to hunt through some additional trench elements. Since the trench is bent, there must be at least 2 elements connected to it, even though they aren't visible, as stated in the beginning. It can also be considered good practice to adjust the fire of other suppressing elements before an assault, especially when explosive weapons are used that can cause friendly casualties. We therefore adjust some additional target orders to deconflict them with our assault. And then we press go. The trench is taken. We had only one casualty in the assault. The enemy only has one survivor. Now it's time to prepare to take the main objective. We would utilize the same principles of suppression and movement under covering fire, but the enemy surrenders when we approach our pre-assault positions. Looking at the end screen, we see we had a second casualty in our ammo bearer team at the low hill. If you found this helpful, don't be shy and show it with a thumbs up. Constructive criticism is also appreciated via comments. May your day be blessed, and thanks for watching.